Miss Richardson, Sadie Schiermeyer!
She is the pride of the Lone Star State, and she's already inspiring Texans with her story and her warmth. The 22-year-old from Frisco represented Richardson prior to being crowned Miss Texas, and she's following in some pretty big footsteps, actually her mom's. Please do welcome the new Miss Texas, Sadie Schiermeyer. Good morning and congratulations.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so glad to have you. Okay, so let's talk about it because we just watched that moment, your crowning moment. What were you feeling, especially walking in your mother's footsteps? She was Miss Texas in 1994.
Correct, yes.
So what was that moment like when you heard your name and you're like, oh my gosh, I really did it?
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely surreal. This is a dream I've had since I could form a coherent thought.
Yeah.
You know, this was a lifelong dream. And so in that moment, it was the most pinch me moment I've ever had. I remember standing there and saying, okay, this can't be a dream. I can feel Annette, the former Miss Texas, putting the crown on my head, and I can see my family cheering and yelling in the audience. And so even now, there are moments where I feel like I'm living a dream, but it has been the biggest blessing, and I'm so excited.
I was about to say, it sounds like you're living in a prayer that you prayed for, right?
For many years,
Exactly.
yes.
Look at that dress, too. My goodness, it's stunning.
Thank you.
Good Lord. Okay, so your platform is health and wellness, which you're here on the perfect day because we love a good Wellness Wednesday around here. So it's really needed, I think, also in Texas right now. So how will you encourage others to support systems that really build on wellness and health?
It's a combination of education and sharing my experience. I actually overcame an eating disorder as a teenager, and I am now thriving, actually, but living with a chronic illness. And so a big part of that was that there really wasn't any helpful conversation being had while I was struggling, and there was no education in my high school about health and wellness, at least not in a comprehensive way that encouraged a culture of wellness. And so as Miss Texas, I am uniquely placed to be a catalyst for change, and our state is ranked second to last in women's health and wellness. And so being a woman, being a role model and a representative of that is something that's extremely important to me. But again, like I said, I'm uniquely placed to be a catalyst for change.
Exactly. You know, I'm so glad that you're able to be in this platform and use it to almost share the things that you've been through, because I think there's a lot of teens out there who go through it silently.
Absolutely.
And obviously you're stunning and gorgeous, and so they see you and they're like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful and she's Miss Texas and she can do all the things. I can do it too, you know, and I can make it through this if she did. So you'll compete in Miss America, which is so exciting. That was a quick turn, but I'm so excited about it in this fall. So what are you most looking forward to about competing with the other women from all across the nation?
Well, there's two big things. First, the kind of more superficial one, but still very exciting, is my evening gown. I just picked it out yesterday. As you saw, I was super thrilled about the one that I wore at State.
I was about to say, you've got good taste.
So, it was a challenge to try and even rise above that one, to try and top it. So we just picked it out. I'm so excited. It's going to be a surprise, so stay tuned. But I think more than that is the sisterhood and friendships that are born out of Miss America. You know, as you said, my mom was Miss Texas in 1994. So I grew up with my mom having Miss America reunions from her 1995 class of Miss America. These were women that I always looked up to. They were huge role models and cheerleaders of mine. And so to be able to have my own version of that is just surreal.
Oh my goodness, now you're having pageant queen aunties. Like, that is awesome.
It's the sweetest. And the way that they rallied to support me through my years.
Through this
Miss Richardson and now Miss Texas is so exciting.
Wow. Okay, full circle moment indeed. You've got a lot of those happening right now. I do want to touch on, because obviously we're going through a really trying time here in Texas. I know you were just crowned a few weeks ago, so you kind of slid right into a really devastating and trying situation, but you did share recently on your Instagram that you were actually a camp counselor growing up. You went to a Christian camp. Tell me, when that news originally came out about those little girls, what were your thoughts? What made you want to take the time to share more on your Instagram?
So as you said, I grew up attending a Christian summer camp as a camper, but I think the more influential piece of it is that I got to serve as a counselor and then ultimately a ropes leader and zipline operator in my later years. And so safety of the campers was something that was always beyond important to me. And I remember every summer feeling the weight of that responsibility and thinking to myself, okay, thinking through all of the possible emergencies that could happen and fortunately never did. I prepared myself by asking that if I'm put in a situation to die for these campers, am I ready for that? And it was a hard question, and I think the most devastating piece that has come out of this for me on a personal level is knowing that there were counselors and leaders and girls that were faced with that question, that you know, there were multiple answers to that. There have been blessings in people being safe, and there have just been absolute tragedies and devastations and young girls not making it. And so that's the piece that is hit extremely close to home. But as Miss Texas, again, I feel the weight of responsibility, making sure that we're navigating this conversation with empathy, and recognizing that even though I'm a leader, I'm leading from a place of listening because I was not the one directly impacted by this tragedy. So it's a hard line to walk, but it definitely is one that weighs heavy on my heart.
I think timing is everything. And I think there's a reason you were crowned this year. I think there's a reason you were crowned just weeks before this devastation happened, because of the simple fact of your connections to Christian camps and being a counselor. You know exactly what these people are going through, and they're going through a really trying time. And so we need a leader that has faith instilled in her so that we can look to you, especially in this trying time. And so I thank you, and I'm so excited for you as you go into the next year of your life. It is going to be just fabulous, and congratulations again on being a legacy and our new Miss Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you.